Hello, welcome to Tier Nerd. This time I'll be tiering anime that start with the letter N. So first we got a interesting set of interests here. We got Nana. I think Nana I'll put in B tier. I think I don't know. I think that's fair for Nana. Maybe like a lower B tier. It's the same thing. I don't know why I watched this stuff to be honest. Like back in high school, I guess I was bored. There were not a lot of anime out yet. I didn't like. I just started watching stuff on YouTube, so I guess I didn't know much, so that's probably why I ended up watching some of these like chick flick slash rom coms or whatever. Nana was a little more serious, but I don't know. It was just not my cup. Like I watched it. I guess at the time it was interesting, but looking at it objectively, like I don't know why I watched it. Like it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like the subject matter isn't even what I'm really interested in. It's like a rock band and all that. Like it's just a lot of stuff that I'm not even interested in. Rock bands and people making bad life decisions. Like that's just not the kind of anime I watch normally. So I think low B tier. Like it's still got a story to it and it can be interesting, which is why I'm not putting it in C tier. So I'm putting it in B tier. See, then we got Nanatsu no Taizai. So I'm grading the whole anime together. So if it was just the first season, I'd probably say A. The first season I thought was great. I was like, yeah, wow, this is A tier material. And then later it just got more repetitive, and then it got ridiculous, and then it basically just became like a giant romance action thing. I don't know. Basically, pretty much everybody has to have a boyfriend or girlfriend by the end. Like that. That was just I don't know. That was just a decision of the creator, I guess. Um, so it just got worse, and the story got more boring and just ridiculous. And I mean, I'm not even criticizing the animation. A lot of people were criticizing season three's animation style, saying it was the worst thing ever. I'm not even looking at that. Like, I think sometimes people are way too critical about the animation style, and they point out errors in the animation that I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about most of the time. Like, I'm just looking at the story. Like, I'm just looking at the how interesting is it, like how good of a story is it, the atmosphere, then maybe I'll the animation and music and all of that, like I put some weight on it, but the main weight is on the actual story and how interesting it is. And so the later seasons have a lot of flaws, so I'm lowering it down a beat here. But I still think Nanatsu no Taizai is solid. It just um, it just gets kind of ridiculous near the end, gets kind of cliche, and yeah. So it gets kind of the same stuff that Fairy Tale fell into at the end, like the same problems Fairy Tale had at the end. Let's see. Then we got Naruto Shippuden, and then I decided to throw in one of the Naruto movies, the last. So the last, like the sixth Naruto Shippuden movie. I decided to add that one in as well because this one actually adds to the story. Most Naruto movies, Dragon Ball Z movies, Bleach movies, One Piece movies, all of those, they generally don't add to the story. They don't. They're not very interesting. This one was actually interesting because it added to the story. This one actually told you something that the anime didn't tell you, and it's not just some non-canon filler movie like most of them are. This one actually added something. So let's see, Naruto. I think I could give it an A tier. I think low A tier. I'm being kind of nice here though, because I mean, if we're looking at just the storyline, A tier, the Naruto Shippuden have good storyline, so they're both A tier for the storyline. And the problem is that 40% of both shows are filler. So when the show isn't a filler, it's A tier. When the show is doing filler, it's like B or C tier. Like Naruto fillers can be really bad. So Naruto had 85 episodes of complete straight up fillers. After episode 135, they decided to have 85 episodes of fillers. So that the last, like, just so much filler. Boruto is even worse in that regard because they do tons of fillers, like repeatedly. Like, can you imagine that? A year and a half of fillers, more than a year and a half of fillers. It's ridiculous. Um, So I'm still being nice despite that. So if we're looking at just the storyline itself, it's A tier. But if I'm looking at it holistically with all the fillers and stuff, they both drop down a B tier. Just keep that in mind. So just the storyline A tier, but and it's the same issue One Piece has as well. One Piece stretches it out. If One Piece didn't stretch out the story and told everything twice as fast, it would be an amazing anime. But because the developers always drag stuff out, since they need to, they don't want to catch up to the manga. Basically, it's because of money. The show's worse because of money. That's really the reason that the show's worse. The show would be better if money wasn't a thing, But they're trying to milk the franchise, so they create all these filler episodes. So that's really the only reason. Yeah, that's why they have so many fillers. Then we have the last. So yeah, the movie was decent. I think I'll put it up here. Like the movie was decent. It just added, like, it basically takes place after Naruto Shippuden. A few years afterward, it just adds in a little bit there, but sort of generic as far as most anime movies go. But yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, really, if I'm being fair, then I'd put it upper B tier. So because of all the fillers. But yeah, the movie does add some stuff to the story, which is why I'm adding a separate entry. But it's still about the same level of quality. So upper B tier because 40% fillers, that's just unforgivable. So you know. Um, let's see. Then we got Neon Genesis Evangelion. So this is another one of those anime that's like overrated. Like just just very overrated. Like, is it better than Natsu no Taizai? I don't know. Should I give it higher than Natsu no Taizai? Maybe I will. Maybe I'll give it mid B tier if I'm being fair. Okay. I still think it's very overrated. Like, it's interesting concept, yes, mecha anime and all of that, but it's not like some masterpiece that changes everything. Like, whatever. And apparently, every character is some form of depression that the author went through or something, and someone wrote like a giant dissertation about how amazing Neon Genesis Evangelion is, and all of this stuff, and all the deep philosophical, psychological stuff. I don't know. Like, maybe some of that's true. Maybe I don't know, because the last few episodes got kind of weird. Like, you know, because they apparently they cut their budget near the end, and so the developers had to rush it. So the last few episodes were just slideshows. Yeah. And I didn't watch any of the newer movies. I know they probably add to the plot. Maybe I will at some point. But yeah, it's similar to Cowboy Bebop and how overrated it is. Some of these classics just get ranked up too high. So it's not S tier, it's not A tier. For me, it's like a mid B tier. Well, they'll just put it there. I'm grading it where it deserves to be. Um, Let's see. Then we got Nichijou. Wow, I can't believe I'm putting Nichijou above Naruto. Yeah, I mean, because of the fillers, right? If it wasn't for the fillers, Naruto would be above Nichijou. But I'm being objective here, we're taking all that in consideration. That's why Nichijou's above Naruto here. Nichijou is just, it's funny, absurdist humor. Like, yeah, like I said, like before, a lot of Japanese anime, the comedy, I just don't always get it. Nichijou, on the other hand, it's absurd, but it's actually funny absurd, and it's not gross absurd. It's not like Gintama. Gintama needs to be gross most of the time to be funny. Like, they just have to make gross, disgusting jokes most of the time. And Nichijou makes like almost no gross jokes at all. Like, this is like one of the cleanest comedy anime ever, and it's hilarious. Like, this is how you make a comedy, and it's like it's absurdist humor. Not all of it's funny. Some of it's just plain weird. I didn't understand it, but it's absurd. But most of the time, it is funny, and I think this is a very unique, interesting anime. It's weird, but weird in a good way. Like, weird where I can still enjoy it. Whereas some other anime, they're weird, and it's like, this is just too weird, and it distracts from it. But Nichijou is like this unique brand of absurdist humor where it actually works. And I don't say that about a lot of anime, so that's why I think it deserves an A tier. Then we got No Game No Life. Once again, we have another anime that is very much overrated. I'm still putting it above Nana. Like, Nana's like super low B tier. Yeah, no Game of Life is definitely overrated. It's a comedy, and yes, it has a lot of memes and all of that. But once it just it's overrated. Like seriously, it's just got some very obscure, maybe gamer humor in there. And yeah, see the difference between No Game of Life and Nichijou. Nichijou is almost completely clean and it's hilarious. No Game of Life has to resort to like etchy basically to add to the humor, which that's what a lot of anime do. Nichijou doesn't have to do that at all. Um, but yeah, No Game No Life is it's still funny, but and I do appreciate some of the humor and some of the tactical wit and wisdom. The thought the main character is he's pretty cool and funny. It's just that once again it is a tad overrated to be honest. It's one season came out like many years ago for 12 episodes, and they never made another season. And maybe if they made another season, maybe I'd watch it again and be like, oh wow, this is a really good anime. But um, I don't know, maybe because it's been so long, but I just don't remember it being that great to be honest. So no Game of Life. So yeah, I think it's just a tad overhyped. It's decent, but like a lot of things, overhyped. Like Neon Genesis, definitely overhyped. Um, Sunanatsu no Taizai is higher. Yeah, I think this is where things should be. Then we got Noir. I don't know, like A, B, B. Yeah, I don't know where to put it. Should I put it higher than here? Like, okay, here's the thing. Noir, it's about mafia and mafia, like Italian, Sicilian, Corsica. I forget like where exactly, but basically around Italy. Basically, it deals with mafia and gangs and all that stuff, and it's got the same kind of atmosphere and vibe as Black Lagoon. So, which is why I'm kind of going to give it the same grade as Black Lagoon, which is probably on the lower end of B tier. This is a serious anime, like not a comedy at all, like very serious anime. Great opening, I really like the opening, um, but mm, like it can get kind of bored. Basically, like a lot of these really serious anime can get kind of boring, and it has the same problem Black Lagoon, except Black Lagoon's a little more flashy. They like to put in more action. Noir is an older anime, and because it's older, it's a little more reserved. Actually, like that's actually something you'll notice if you watch older anime, like 1980s, 70s. If you watch the anime openings, they're so different. Like the style, it's always more reserved, laid back. The storytelling is more reserved in older anime. So noir is a little older; it's more reserved, and sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it makes it a little boring. And so in noir, I think what's solid is I still think this is a good anime. It's serious anime. I just think I might rank it a little lower just because um, it can get a bit dry at times. I think these kinds of anime can get a bit dry. So I don't know if I'm being too harsh by putting it down here. I mean, I'm putting it below No Game No Life. Um, so yeah, I don't know if I should put it this low. Maybe it's more fair to put it on the upper end of B tier. So I don't really know, but I think it's definitely B tier for Noir. And then we have Noragami. So Noragami, like I don't know what it is, but the last anime seems to always just like Monster Rancher. Noragami is my token C tier anime in every list, I guess. At least it's not D tier, but at least Monster Rancher, I thought it could be D tier. I was hesitant. I was thinking between C and D tier. Noragami is a solid C tier, but this is another one of those anime that just very overrated. This is very it's um, it can get kind of boring. Like just to be honest, like it's overrated. Like I'm grading Noragami and Origami Arigato the sequel, but yeah, they're interesting concept with the gods and the vassals and all of that stuff, but they just go about it the wrong way. Like they just yeah, like seriously. Like I don't know, with some anime it's just like yeah, like the way they tell the story, it's only 12 episodes, right? That's not a lot of time. You need to get people's attention, and The anime just kind of fails it. It's like almost nothing happens in 12 episodes. That's not a good sign, you know. So there are some cool characters and all that, but that's it. Like that's what it's got going for. Like there's some cool characters, but overall the anime is just not very interesting. Just not. It just kind of bounces back and forth between a lot of characters, and nothing really happens. And it's got some good moments, but yeah, I think upper C tier is fair. It just yeah, it just there's so many good anime I've watched, and Origami just is just sort of bland compared to it. You know, like I can't really explain it. It's just not that great. Kind of like I don't know Exorcist. You know, just kind of it's just kind of there. Like the anime just exists, and except or Blue Exorcist, I would say it's probably better. But yeah, Noragami is just so so. Um, so yeah, this is my ranking of anime that start with the letter N. Got Nichijou in A tier. Naruto I bumped down a B tier because I just have a hard time putting it in A tier because of all the fillers. And everything else here is just a solid B tier, except maybe Nana's like low B tier, and then Origami C. So yeah, I did not put a lot in A tier. I guess I was kind of harsh this time, but yeah, Nichijou somehow ends up being the victor here. So that's it. Stay tuned for more next time.